Hello and welcome back to another episode of the RotoWire Fantasy Soccer Podcast. My name is Andrew Laird, Senior Soccer Editor of RotoWire. Joined on this, what is today? Tuesday, December 15th by Jordan Cooper to talk about Wednesday's double Premier League slate. Jordan, we were lambasting the Premier League all season that all we're getting are these junk 3-game staggered start slates. And so tomorrow we get 2 3-game slates, but at least we have simultaneous starts. So like, how excited are you?
Right. I mean, we can't really. We can't look to get the horse in the mouth. I mean, personally, I'd rather a 6-game slate, even if it is split. Like this, you can't win with us. That it's like, okay, we're used to playing these 3-game split slates on the weekends, and now it's like, okay, here you go. This is like an EPL slate on 10 in the morning on Saturday, and all 3 games are at this time. Shouldn't you be happy? I'm like, well, there's 3 other games. I'd rather have 6. Yeah. Right, I'd rather have to wonder what the Liverpool and Tottenham lineups are, and then plan around them and have a 6-game slate, not to just have 3 games. So like you really can't satisfy us at all.
No, I was going back and forth because FanDuel and Yahoo both did 6-game slates, and FanDuel's like offering a late slate, but there's no like early 3-game. But as soon as I saw 2 3-game slates, I'm like, really? Like we couldn't just go with 6, and yet. We've definitely said like 3 simultaneous games is perfectly fine with us, and so
only because we're getting used to having garbage on Saturdays.
Right.
We're used to in the past having 5-game slates, but they all start at the same time. So like now our needs are like our tolerance level is kind of like, well, 3 games at the same time. I guess it's better than nothing.
Right. These slates are also very different. Like I found
the early slate is easier than the late slate.
100%. I would go as far as to say I think the later slate is a perfect GPP slate, and the early one is perfectly fine cash slate. And I actually don't know what I would do if it was a 6-game slate. So almost in that respect, I think I actually am thankful. I mean, the pricing is also like I felt the pricing on the first slate was very loose.
And the pricing on the second slate is almost too tight.
Exactly. So anyway, we're going to cover both slates here. So for those who play FanDuel and Yahoo and still somehow get value out of what we say, we're going to talk about the games at least, but it won't be all for a single slate. So how often do we get a slate that has Leicester, Everton, and Arsenal on it, and Leeds are the biggest favorite on the slate?
Well, I mean, it's really dependent on the matchups. I mean, Arsenal are not looking all that hot anyway.
No.
But yeah, Leeds are the minus 129 currently. It's the highest total game on the slate by a little bit. Leeds at home against Newcastle. Then we got Leicester plus 117 favorite at home against Everton. And that's a 2 3/4 total. Nothing has a 3+ total. And then Arsenal are a plus 132 home favorite to Southampton, and that's actually the lowest total on the slate. But in comparison, DraftKings pricing, it almost feels like the Arsenal players are too cheap.
I wrote in my article they're almost priced like they're underdogs, which feels a little weird.
Just even if you think in comparison to like. If Leicester's a plus 117 favorite and Arsenal's plus 132 favorite, that isn't that dramatic of a difference. Yeah. Yet Vardy is 9,200 and Aubameyang 6,300. So like
one actually scores goals and the other one apparently forgot how.
Right, but Vardy does have the best anytime goal scoring odds.
Yeah.
On the slate, but still minus 118, so it's nothing to write home about. But I mean, Danny Ings is 8,500. I mean, that's why I take a look at like Aubameyang and go, why? Like he probably should be efficiently priced at like the same price as Bamford, right? Bamford 7,700 and is plus 115. So like if Aubameyang was 7,500, I'd be like, okay, I could imagine that type of thing. I'm not even sure if you play him even at 6,300 in cash games.
Well, it's funny. So when I looked at the cheat sheet. So we'll get to all of it later, but so Newcastle had like this ridiculous COVID issue, and a few guys came back this past weekend, and Steve Bruce said like some of them aren't going to play this match because like they just physically can't do it. And just the way that the cheat sheet is done out, I'm like, oh man, they're the second game. They're not the first game, so we're not going to know. And I'm like, wait, no. These are all happening at the same time. We are going to know who's starting for Newcastle. Not that I'm playing Callum Wilson in cash. But to your point on Aubameyang, the one that jumped out at me at first was Willian at 6,900. And I'm like, that is really cheap. Like, they're favored. He takes all their set pieces. Against Southampton, that's an easy price. And I almost didn't keep going. But I'm like, wait a minute. I haven't seen Aubameyang yet. And it's like 6,200. Like, I think, or 63, excuse me. Like, I think enough people will play Aubameyang in cash.
I think it depends on Leeds' lineup. I think that what you're going to do in cash. Well, you don't think so?
No, I think you play the Leeds guy anyway.
And Aubameyang as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to play. This is the weird type of slate. Both these slates are where like the forward eligible players are almost like as good as the mid, like the MF guys are guys that you would play in the midfield slots also.
I think the second slate you could play 4 or 5 forwards.
Right.
But this one you won't. But
if you attest to that fact that Aubameyang is cash viable, which I do, you can make a construction with 3 of them. I mean, what makes this slate easy is that James is out.
Yeah.
Because he's 99,000 in a slight underdog position. So you don't have to deal with him. You don't have to deal with the $9,000 forward that obviously he would have a better floor than anyone else on the slate. But I mean, outside of Willian, I mean, I want to know. I think the most important lineup, when we will all get it at the same time, is the Leeds lineup, because I mean they rotate so much, and I want to know if Rafinha is going to be in, because in their last game he took everything. I think
Rafinha is an easy play if he starts. I don't even think it matters who else starts.
True. I'm not, because he's forward eligible, but that he could not start. We could have a Rodrigo or Helder Costa.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have Jack Harrison in. I mean, they rotate a lot of guys around that we may not get Rafinha. And then then we have the Rodrigo and Costa at 5,700 and 5,400. And I'd rather play them over Aubameyang, personally. I'll take the Leeds players over a goal, depending, because it's not like Aubameyang's playing wide anymore. He's playing as a center forward now. So, like, his floor is I mean, you're not going to get many peripherals out of him.
His floor is reasonably 6.
Yeah, but how about Rodrigo and Costa?
I think they're reasonably 4.
Oh, okay. So we'll split the difference. What happens if Pepe is back? 5,300. I mean,
I think you could play him if Willian doesn't start.
But how about even if Willian does start and you don't play him, you play him over Aubameyang and you spend down even more?
I think there's a significantly better chance that Pepe plays like 52 minutes.
Yeah, that is true. Because I mean, the other guys that are in the forward pool are like not cash viable. Vardy, Ings, Bamford, Che Adams,
Callum Wilson.
Callum Wilson. Like, these are highly goal dependent. Even Calvert-Lewin at 6,700, Dwight Gale. Like, you're not playing these guys.
No, you're not playing them.
Right? I mean, do you want to see if you get lucky again with Miguel Almiron? If he even plays at 5,100?
No. I don't think you have to.
It. I mean, that's the forward position.
Yep.
I mean, if someone starts and you could play, if you want to try for Richarlison 7,400, good luck to you in GPP. But I mean, there's no chance in hell that I'm playing him in a double up.
I don't think playing Eddie Nketiah at 3,800 is bad.
No, well, I mean, now you're just pretty much just punting. I mean, you're just going.
Yeah, but I think he's a perfectly viable punt.
Right, but most likely he plays if Aubameyang doesn't play.
Or Lacazette.
Right. It
Whose name
depends
we
on the
haven't even
Arsenal.
said. I don't even know where he's priced. I didn't even consider him. 5,800.
Right.
Yeah,
but I don't think you have to pay up at forward. I mean, it's Rafinha at 7,100, Willian at 6,900, and then some guys in the 5K range. Because I mean, we do have midfielders to pay up for.
Yeah.
And you could fit them in. I mean,
yep.
this early slate is like whoever. If you want to play these guys, you could jam them all in.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much, I mean, really the context of the slate, Madison should be 10K, right? Not 8,800.
Yeah.
I mean, if Willian's going to be 6,900 when he should be 8,200,
right.
I mean, like, just the context is, like, to me up here, like, it's Madison and James Ward-Prowse, right? And if you want to play them both, you can.
Yep.
I mean, you absolutely. I mean, there's no reason why you can't play them. So
you could have played them with James.
Right. But I mean, that would have been a little trickier.
It's a little tricky, but not.
Right.
I mean, there are no defenders to pay for.
Right. But you'd have to think that on the entire slate, the highest floor ceiling combination player is James Madison.
Yeah.
I mean, like, to me he's the first guy. If I had to choose between Madison or Ward-Prowse in a lineup, I'm choosing Madison. Right? I mean, that's to me, I don't think that's controversial.
Nope.
But then outside of that, what?
It doesn't matter. You can play both.
Right. You can play both. Actually, you could play both of them and the third guy, sitting at 6,400. With James out, Gylfi Sigurdsson probably will be in the lineup, and he'll take a monopoly of their set pieces. With Lucas Digne out also, injured. We saw in the last game he put up a monster score. I'm not like completely scared of Leicester. I mean, they're not even less than even money favorite. So you could play him it feels like this slate. Like you could play them all.
Yeah, I think the consideration with Sigurdsson is whether you want to play him or one of Willian or Aubameyang if you're going to play, let's say, Aubameyang, then your utility can be either Sigurdsson or Willian, or it's like, do you want two Arsenal guys because they're fairly cheap and both are priced around Sigurdsson?
Right, but I think from a floor perspective, if I had to choose between Sigurdsson or Aubameyang, I'll take Sigurdsson. I think that the interesting players on this slate it's kind of weird to say that Leeds are the biggest favorite, yet because of the ambiguity of how points get distributed, they're all good. I mean, like, it's like as a team, they're fantasy friendly.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you can't, like, there's no like one guy that you need.
Right.
They're typically priced efficiently enough where if you want to play Harrison at 6,800, okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to play Cleach at 6,600, if you want to play Calvin Phillips even at 5,400, I mean, I think they're all fine, but they don't stand out as like that's the one guy I want to play.
Yeah.
So they end up being kind of like secondary, especially when they have players on the pitch where they could split set pieces, 4 different ways.
Two things on that. One is that I think Rafinha is better than all of them. Like if he starts, I still think you're going that way. Two is I watch a majority of soccer on mute, but I happen to have the volume on for the last Leeds game and was blown away that you pronounce his name Click and not Cleach, and it actually made me like him even more.
Why? So you could click on him?
Right. Just Click sounds so much better. So I raised him in my rankings a little bit, and I mean he's on penalties, but I think realistically,
did you raise him in the rankings for the clicks?
Yeah, I did.
Is that what you did? RotoWire, they need more of them. So
puns and clicks. That's all I do for. Yeah, I think the real discussion is like what happens if we see significant rotation. Like,
well, I mean, if Madison doesn't start, you play Tielemans at 5,900.
I think you could also play Albrighton.
That's true as well. Albrighton may start as like a wingback or something like they. So I mean, that doesn't make it as appealing. I'd rather play like Justin in a defender spot than play Albrighton in a midfield spot. But if Albrighton's in there and there's no, he could also have half the set pieces also. Right.
I think you could play Albrighton with zero expectation of set pieces and be fine.
Right, at that price.
Right.
Right, but I mean, I think the Newcastle players are actually overpriced.
I think Richie is. I think Shelvey is efficient, but also I don't see any reason to play him.
Right. Like if I'm going to play, if I had a choice between Shelvey and Phillips, I'll play Phillips.
But what about Shelvey, Phillips, and Albrighton?
I'll play Albrighton.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll play Helder Costa in a midfield spot at 54.
Guy scores one bailout goal for you, and now all of a sudden he's great.
If he's going to be on the wing for the highest total, biggest favorite team, then why the hell not?
Yep. Would you play Danny Ceballos if it seemed like he had set pieces?
If it seemed. I like the way you had to say seemed. You never know. Jacques is going to be out, so you don't have to worry about him.
It was more like if they go Aubameyang, Lacazette, and Nketiah. So no Willian and
how do they line
no
that
Pepe.
up? Arteta's going to be gone if they line that up. I mean, that's, to have no midfield? I think it's more likely that if Willian doesn't start, Pepe does, and Pepe takes set pieces.
Most likely.
And it fills a forward spot. I can't see playing Ceballos at 5,100 in cash.
Okay.
Right? Can you? I mean, I'd rather take a shot on like an Iwobi if he starts. I'd rather go down further.
I was going to say there's a non-zero chance that Ryan Fraser has set pieces for Newcastle.
That's true.
4,400 is kind of fun for him.
Yeah, he's cheap enough that I'll play a Newcastle player that cheap.
Mm-hmm.
But there's really no reason to go even further than that. I mean, there's no reason to play defensive midfielders or, you're not playing Jeff Hendrick this slate.
No.
Is there a need? I mean, if anything, you go down at a defender spot, but like these midfield and forward spots are too valuable to punt one of them.
Yeah, I think Iwobi's the cheapest you can go.
Right, depending obviously if he starts.
Right.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, defender to me is
Right.
Right. I mean, to me, like what stands out at defense is like Justin at 5,200, and then like the Leeds guys, depending on how they line up.
Yep.
And you never know because you have to don't take like Luke Ayling if it ends up being a central defender.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes you can't tell if Dallas is going to be a central midfielder or a fullback.
Alioski's almost always out wide.
Right. Alioski is never going to be in the 3 center back formation.
I mean, Justin might. He's played there before.
Yeah, you're right. That's why you should go to the RotoWire's formations page, right? Is that for premium subscribers?
Yes, that's for subscribers. Yes.
Okay, so you'll see the formation.
Yeah. So
you'll able to tell.
I think Luke Thomas is the most likely one to be out wide if he starts.
Okay.
I think you could play Ainsley Maitland-Niles if he starts, 3,400. He's not like a great crosser, but with Bellerin out, it's either going to be him or Cedric, and Cedric like barely plays, so 3,400 for an Arsenal.
I don't mind playing Tierney on the other side if he's going to play as fullback.
Yeah, no, I think Tierney is definitely a play. I'm saying if you
need
need somebody cheap.
Right, but none of these guys stand out. Like
None.
I think you're probably playing, and you could play 2 of them. Like that's how soft the pricing is.
Yeah.
Where you're most likely not going to have to. Maybe Manquillo starts for 3,400, or Wilfred Ndidi is a defender now.
Oh, I kind of like that play.
Right, so maybe you play Ndidi if he's playing as a defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what I was looking at before. Like if I punt down, like how do I take someone that's like not a central defender?
Yeah, well, Ndidi's like the perfect pay down option because he's like somebody you would probably consider paying down with anyway if he was a midfielder. But because midfielder's so important on this slate and you can get him at defense, perfect.
Perfect. Could give me the clean sheet equity as well. That's perfectly fine.
Yep.
And then goalkeepers, whatever.
I think there's a situation where you could have any of them, which almost makes it worse. Like usually it's like, well, I can only afford these 2 guys, so let me just flip my coin and see which one. But like if you decided to play Maitland-Niles and Ndidi instead of like Ayling and Luke Thomas, like you could get who is the most expensive, Meslier,
right?
Sure. Like I don't think it matters,
right?
Which is wonderful advice, but like there's nothing. I don't know what else to even say about it.
Right. I don't think there's going to be a chalk keeper.
No.
Like I don't think there's like, it's clear the home keeper. It's clearly Leno,
right?
Or it's clearly no one's going to be playing Leeds player, so it's going to be Darlow. I mean, like, so you're going to pay all the way down. Like it's literally whoever's left. I mean, a lot of times that you could at least see like, okay, I could see. I think on the late slate there will be one.
Yeah.
But on the early one, like, it's really depending on who you play at defender and who you punted. If you played, did you play James Ward-Prowse or did you play Sigurdsson in that spot? Or did you play 3 defenders? instead, and you did something like that, I could see it, right? Like, I think the first slate we're going to see a lot of 2v2s, and it's only going to be like defender goalkeeper in cash games. Like it's not going to be like a 4v4. Like you could see a lot of constructions, but like the defenders you choose are maybe different from other people's defenders, but the rest of the construction looks the same.
Right.
Because it's the type of thing where it's like, did you play Alioski and Schmeichel, or did you play Luke Thomas and Meslier? And you're like, that doesn't even matter.
Right.
Or did you play Stuart Dallas and Jordan Pickford, or did you play McCarthy and Ailing, and what does it matter?
Right.
None of this matters.
Not going to be a whole lot of, oh my gosh, I can't believe you played Ailing and Schmeichel.
Right.
What an idiot. All right, let's jump into this later slate. Before we do, a quick message from SoRare. SoRare is a global fantasy football game where you can scout and collect officially licensed digital cards of football players. You can compose your teams with your cards to compete in weekly tournaments, and if you're a skilled fantasy manager and ranked well, you can win money and new cards every week. SoRare has partnered with over 100 football clubs, including PSG, Juventus, and Bayern Munich. They just added Fenerbahce, I believe. So visit sorare.com, that's SORARE.com, to sign up, or use the link in our episode description to receive 10 free cards.
If I had a card on SoRare, it would be a wild card. You know why? Because you get whatever card you want. There you go.
Okay.
Come on, let's talk about Easy E now. Come on. My favorite player.
So, yeah, 3-game slate. Liverpool home against Tottenham. West Ham home against Crystal Palace. Brighton favored away to Fulham. I think, is it weird to say that I think the game with the highest implied total is the most likely one to be scoreless?
Oh, so you're talking about the Tottenham-Liverpool game?
Yeah.
I think it's actually the game that's, it's kind of weird to say, the game that's going to have the least ownership.
In cash.
In cash, yes.
Yes.
I don't know about GPPs, but the context of this second slate, if you like the first slate, you're going to hate this slate.
Right. Like if you right. If you really like the first one, just put all of your volume there. Don't even play the second one.
Right. Don't even play this slate because everyone is overpriced. Just like everyone is overpriced. Like there's no underpriced anyone.
It's the total opposite of the first slate.
It almost feels like they put both slates together to begin with to make the pricing, and then split it apart. Because that's what it feels like. It feels like that these would be the right prices compared to how the team totals are. Like it would make sense that the Arsenal players are a little bit cheaper. I mean, Madison's only 8,800, and then because Salah's going to be 10,600. I mean,
that is an absolutely incredible observation.
Right. That's what it feels like.
I think that's exactly what happened.
Right. Because that's the only way that this makes sense. Because you can't possibly make lineups with these prices. I mean, you can, but I mean, it's weird for me to say, but I think that what's popular in cash games is going to be a double punt defender build. It's going to be where you're going to look at the defender positions and go, wow, they're all overpriced, and everyone's overpriced at every position. So there's no big deal. There's not really as much to pay up for defense. Let me go all the way down and take Lewis Dunk. I mean, it's going to be to me. I mean, that's at least what it's looking at when I looked at construction to begin with. And then everyone that you want to play is forward eligible.
Yes. So
and it's the other way around where oh my God, I have a midfield spot. Well, let me put a forward there.
Right. So what I also was looking at, so whenever there are two big teams playing against each other, I generally just fade it because they're all expensive, and it's this game has to just be bananas for it to really pay off. I say that, and particularly whenever Jose Mourinho is involved. Now, granted, they destroyed Man United earlier this year and had a ton of fantasy points, but I think this is different. So I even went into this before I saw the pricing. I just assumed that Liverpool and Tottenham were expensive, and I'm if I just take them out, I'll be able to play whoever I want. And it's not even close.
Right.
Like,
you're not even close.
Like, we talk about how the benefit that you get price-wise from fading the most expensive ones. And the most expensive guys are generally the ones with the highest floors and the highest ceilings. And you're like, if I don't take this guy, at least I'm getting $2,000 in salary relief so I can help my other guys. But I'm actually paying up for the guys that are not in the Liverpool-Tottenham game. Like, that's how it comes out. Like, I'm like, do I want to play? Like, Son is 10-1. And I'm like, no, I don't want that game. So let me go all the way down to Gerard Bowen, who's 9,900?
9,900, right.
Like, what?
Well, you're getting 200, you're saving 200 in salary. But in technicality, Liverpool is the biggest favorite on the slate, minus 121, which is not that huge of a favorite. West Ham's plus 111. Brighton is plus 158. So really...
Are they favored now?
Yeah, Brighton is now an away... They opened as an away favorite.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said Fulham.
No, Brighton is favored in that game.
Yes.
But I mean... Based on those pricing, like that, it
makes sense.
Then it does make sense, right? Because the Liverpool players should be the most expensive, but you'd also expect the Tottenham players to be. I mean, the Tottenham players are lower, but like, who do you play on their team? I mean, but it's just like if you're playing Son at 10-1, you're playing the set piece sharing player forward of the biggest underdog.
Yes.
And he's 10-1, rather than play Bowen, who is the majority set piece taking forward for favorite in the game against Palace. But you still look at Bowen at 9,900 and go, am I really paying 9,900 for Jared Bowen?
Right.
And then you look and you go, okay, if I don't play Bowen, why don't I take the majority set piece taking forward for the slight underdog in that game, Easy E, and he's 8,800. And then you go, okay, I can't pay 8,800 for Easy E. So I'm going to go into the other game.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take the set piece majority taking forward for the slight underdog in that game. Let me look at Pascal Gross. He's 8,600. And you'll own...
No. He's favored.
Oh, he's favored. Okay, he's favored.
Away.
And then you look and like, is there anyone else on the slate to play? No. And then how do I get all these people in my lineup?
You're missing the most obvious play on the entire slate.
No, I know who the obvious play on the entire slate.
Okay.
Is he a majority set piece taking forward for a slight underdog?
He is, as long as you only look at the last one game.
Good sample size there. Also, you have to realize in midweek, none of these guys could start. I mean, like, it could be the type of thing that you could listen to this podcast and then lineups come out, and half the guys that we mentioned aren't even in.
Right. If you're somebody who takes notes and you look down and you just cross everyone off who's not in, and then all you have is crosses.
Maybe that's what DraftKings is hoping for this 3 p.m. slate. They're like, we're just going to price everyone up because half of them are sitting anyway.
Right.
Right, because then we could get Andros Townsend at 7,700, and that's too expensive. Or like, no, I could get Trossard at 7,200, which is also too expensive.
Too expensive, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, if I don't play Cavallero, which is who we're talking about, then I play Ademola Lookman. So I'm like, okay, let me look for Lookman. He's 6,800. And like, can I get a break anywhere? Is there a price break? There's
one.
There is?
There is. No, he's not a forward. So don't even...
He's not a forward.
No, he's not a
forward.
forward.
Do you consider Tom Kearney at 5,900 to be the price break?
No.
This slate is stupid.
It's really stupid.
Are you paying 6,500 for Aaron Cresswell? Are you nuts?
No.
What is wrong with this slate? This is just ridiculous.
So...
And it's like, no, well, if I'm going to pay 6,500 for Cresswell, I might as well overpay for Andrew Robertson at 7,300. Like, did someone just in the pricing just like say like anyone that's below 5,000, we're just going to make like computer generated players and just like, nope, just where it's the reverse of Christmas. The first slate is the Christmas sale. And the second slate is like, nope, these are the leftovers, and if you want to buy them, we'd rather throw them out than sell it to you cheap. Is there a point in going through forward or midfielder when like pretty much anyone you'd play is forward eligible?
Yes.
I think they're all together. I mean, I know we're skipping around a bit.
Excuse me.
But it almost feels like the guys that are just forward eligible are the guys that you never play anyway because they're too goal dependent. Maupay and
those. I mean, there's so many floored forwards you can play. I don't think you're playing a goal dependent one in cash unless it's like Kane, and I don't know why you're doing that either.
I don't know why you would do that at all. So who's this discount?
Luka Milivojevic.
Yeah. If they have rotation and he starts, right? You're absolutely right. But that's only if they rotate. I mean,
he started the last game and took 0 set pieces.
Right. So there you go. So, I mean, it depends on how Crystal Palace lines up because it could be Townsend, it could be Van Aanholt, it could be Milivojevic. I mean, I think McCarthy's out. Oh well, maybe he could be in. Who knows? But I mean, to me, I think pretty much like you're jamming these guys in.
I mean, the way that I looked at it is no matter, like, even if there's significant rotation with like no Gross, no Bowen, no Eze, no Cavallero, you're still not playing the Liverpool or Tottenham guys.
Right. You're still probably not. Because even the guys that you'd play in case they're not in are overpriced. And you'd still play them over the Liverpool and Tottenham guys. Because, like, let's say Gross isn't in. You could play Trossard. You could play. But Solly March playing as a wingback is going to be 6,600. I mean, like, can we get a break somewhere? Mark Noble, 6,500. What is going on?
You would think that all of these teams were playing a team from like League One and not League Un, like third tier League One, like an FA Cup match. Like they're all priced that way.
Right. I take a when Kearney at 5,900 sounds like a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a problem because I'm going down and I'm saying, okay, it's quite possible like to use De Cordova-Reed as a punt play in a forward slot at 5,400. Like number one, you don't care whether or not he's forward eligible because you're playing so many forward eligible players as it is. And then you look and you go, why am I paying 50? Like that's the guy that you'd go, okay, I'd punt with him at 3,700, and you're like, well, what? Why are you paying 5,400 for him? Is there any? I mean, I'm scrolling down. Is there anyone? Is there literally anyone underpriced? Is there anyone? I'm getting to the point. Is there anyone efficiently even priced?
I think you could make the case that the two guys who are they're probably not even underpriced. Let me put it this way. I think they are efficiently priced as junk punts, but you can still consider them. And it's two Tottenham players, so we're looking at the biggest underdog on the slate. But if they start, I think Steven Bergwijn and Tanguy Ndombele, who are both 3,600. Bergwijn's a forward, but it doesn't matter. I think they're fine. If you really just feel
to me, even then, I'd rather play someone like Fornals if he's in at 3,900. Lanzini, it's 4,700.
That's a sizable difference, though, 47.
Yeah, but it's in comparison to the slate, 4,700 sounds like you're going to the dollar store. I mean, come on.
I will say though that if you're really looking at Bergwijn or Ndombele, just play two center backs.
Right. But that's the point I made in the very beginning.
Yeah, like even they're 3,600, but you can get like a Fulham center back for 2,500, which will allow you to pay
not fill up your midfield and forward spots. Right.
And it'll allow you to pay $95,000 for Pascal Gross.
Right. That's it. I mean, my dummy lineup has like Ogbonna and like Burn in it or something like that. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to play. I'll play one punt defender. Let me see what I get if I move up Burn to Van Aanholt or something. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I'm spending $3,000 for what? And then like, what do I get? It feels like yeah, I could play Robertson or TAA. I mean, I could, but I mean, at their prices, I almost prefer guys. I almost prefer the guys in the other games.
Right. But not Cresswell.
Right, but 6,500.
He played as a left back in the last game. Like, not that I think he's efficiently priced, but he's closer to efficient than everybody else.
If he plays as a fullback.
Yes. But they obviously have to price him that way.
Right. They don't have to. They could make him 5,800 and be like, okay. And even then at 5,800, I'd say, okay, you could play him. I mean, like, it is what it is.
Yeah. No, I think it's the standard build is going to be very top heavy. And it's not top heavy with good players. It's just top heavy with expensive players.
Right. Not because they're good. It's just because you can only play expensive players.
Right.
Like, there's no other choice.
Right. But like the easy, no pun intended, or pivots from the cash guys like Eze and Bowen are the Liverpool guys, or that game. Like, you could just build your cash lineup, and then instead of playing Bowen, you play Salah, and instead of Gross, you can play Kane, and like there are your goals.
Yeah, but I'd rather just go down and then pay up for a defender and pay up for Robertson or Trent Alexander-Arnold.
I mean, why would you not take the goal scorers in GPP in the game with
the
biggest...
GPP? Oh, I'm talking about cash games.
Sorry, no. I meant if you're going... I think the difference construction-wise from cash to GPP is actually not going to be different. Because you can just take your cash lineup and sub in the goal scorers who are priced. Because why wouldn't Gerard Bowen only be 200 less than Son or 700 from Salah? Like, I think it's just an easy, like, let me just take this guy out and put this goal scorer in, and you're done.
Right, because there may not be a forward-eligible player that's cheaper than 6,500 on this entire slate. Right? Or 6,800 on the... I mean, literally. Firmino, maybe 6,300.
Yeah, Firmino.
Well, Caballero's at 5,700. So, I guess.
Mitrovic is fit again.
Oh, he is? Oh, my God.
I'm just saying, like, he could start for Cavallero. I'm not saying to play Mitrovic, who is 6,600. My God.
Well, this is the reason why the chalk goalkeeper is Hugo Lloris.
Yes.
Right? Because you're not going to play, most likely not going to play Liverpool that game, and there you go, the cheapest keeper, 4,200.
Right.
Right? But you could play Guaita. He's only $100 more, so...
Mm-hmm.
Like, then we talk about goalkeeper again.
Right. Ariel is only $100 more than that.
Right.
That's stupid. It's just like the number of guys that are just complete non-considerations because of price is almost disappointing. Like, I'm normally somebody who likes to like the way I play is, let me just get the player pool as small as possible so that I only have to pick out of this group. And theoretically, I should be happy that I'm doing that on this slate, because there's so many guys who are so overpriced that I'm just like, no way I play them. But like, I think Aurier is a very good play at 5, but I think he's a good play at 4,000, but he's 5,000. Like, I'm not going to pay that to get for an away fullback, but like, he's a very good fantasy point scorer. But there's no way I'm even in the range of paying 5,000 for a defender. Like, if I'm paying up a defender, I'm forcing myself to pay 6,000 or 7,000. That like 5,000 doesn't even get me anything.
Right, because you figure it's like, okay, instead of paying for Bowen, I'll take Sebastian Haller, and it's like 8,300.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on? Like, Zaha, okay, maybe I'll take a shot on Zaha. 9,300. Like, what is going on here? Everyone is too expensive.
Yeah, you're just not realizing the benefit of not playing the Liverpool-Tottenham guys.
Right.
And yet I'm not going to play the Liverpool-Tottenham guys.
Right, of course not. And then you know what's going to happen. That game's going to be 4-3.
Yeah, 6-5.
Right, or something.
And everyone gets one.
Right, everyone gets one.
I just don't... Yeah, it's... I don't expect Liverpool to put out a clown car. Like,
no.
There had been talk about Minamino, but like, is Ox back? Wow,
at least Minamino is 5,500. It feels like you're getting a deal,
right?
Even though you're probably not,
right? But like,
Ox is 6,200. I mean, like, is there anyone priced?
Origi's 54. But like, you're not going to play Minamino in cash.
Right.
Jahanbakhsh started last weekend. Well, that's pretty good, actually. 7.7.
I mean, Jahanbakhsh or Connolly, like that's okay. But I mean, when you're talking about these guys, you're comparing them to defenders now, not comparing them to anything else because you could fit every. Like, I just don't see the priority at the defender position on this slate. Are you paying $5,600 for Kufal? Are you paying or Fredericks if he's in? I mean, Doherty at $4,800. I mean, like Robinson at $4,700. Seems like everyone's overpriced. So if everyone's overpriced, I'll get my 3 points from Alex Agbana, right?
If Bowen doesn't start, do you pay $6,500 for Cresswell if he's out wide?
Maybe.
I mean, like
I would need to find a midfielder that's cheap in order to do that. That's if I play Milivojevic, right? That would be that type of lineup.
No, I mean,
what's going to happen? Palace is going to line up without Eazy-E, without Townsend. It's going to be everyone but Milivojevic, and then going to get Patrick Van Aanholt taking all the set pieces. That's what's going to end up happening. And then the winning lineup has Cresswell and Van Aanholt in it, and that's when you just throw your phone in the rim.
And TAA, who had 3 points.
Right, the 3-defender build with 6K defenders and above.
Yeah.
And then you punt it forward, and, you go down to the bottom, and it's Elangelo scores. I don't even know who that is, but he's the cheapest guy, and he probably scores.
Emmanuel Langelo.
He's not
Langelo? Langelo. It's got to be Langelo.
Divock Origi is going to start for Liverpool, and he's going to put up a hat trick.
And there's a Boubacar Kamara who just looks like looks like Alvin Kamara, and you're like, oh, Alvin Kamara, 3,600 is not bad.
Well, not with Taysom Hill at the quarterback.
No, that's a good point. At 3,600. Yeah, different podcast. Yeah, this slate is awful. Simple as that.
I like the way that the first slate we were like happy about. Like, okay, this is a fun, playable slate. We got some pieces. There's GPP switches because there's going to be chalky options. And this you're looking at like it feels like you need to contact the Federal Trade Commission. Like this price gouging going on here. I know DraftKings you're one of the only DFS soccer games in town, but you don't have to gouge us.
Yeah, this isn't fair. Yeah.
Right, this isn't fair.
Right. I think, based on the prices and based on your theory, this incredible theory that they price one slate and then just split them, I think the cash lineup you make for the first slate would have been the cash lineup you made on the 6-gamer.
Right.
Because you look at these 3 games,
right,
and you're maybe, everyone's too overpriced.
Right, maybe you end up playing Cavallero on this like 57 if you want to, instead of playing Sigurdsson or Aubameyang or like in that range.
That's exactly what it is.
Right. I mean, look, Andrew, look on the first slate. The one outside of KDB in the EPL, the highest floor ceiling combination player on the league is James Maddison. He's 8,800.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to pay 8,600 for Pascal Gross on this slate.
He's the same price as Eze.
Right. Like, really?
Same price.
It should be that if Madison's 8,800, Eazy-E should be like 6,400.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And Pascal Gross should be 7,000. And then you'd be like, oh, okay, Bowen should be 8,200. And you'd be like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah. No,
we'd have something more up. We'd be having a conversation of a 6-game slate of like, wow, there are going to be a lot of different cash lineups. Right? Because you could make a lot. Like, do you play James Ward-Prowse?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you play Jared Bowen in the forward spot? Or do you like all like this? But nope. We're going to make the first slate as easy as possible. You can jam in anyone you want. And then we're going to just take that guillotine and just your thumbs on the 3 o'clock slate. And then they chop it off. And you say, nope. You got to be nope. For all the soft pricing you got the last slate, yeah, you're going to pay it forward.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the best thing that could happen is that because I don't think they're going to be able to pay out before the end of the third. Like, hopefully I can just put all of your money in the first slate. That's going to be the way out of having to play this second slate. You're like, oh, they didn't pay out yet, so I don't have money for this next slate. I mean, if this was one slate, there's no way we're even talking about Gerard Bowen at 9,900 if Madison is 88.
No, you wouldn't. Right? I mean, you'd look
Pascal
at the
Gross 86 or James Ward-Prowse at 84.
Right, but I'm even talking about filling the forward spots. Willie on 6,900.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how is Willie on 6,900 and Bowen is 3,000 more expensive than him?
Yeah, like, I'm trying, where does the... Yeah, like, well, that's a stupid price. But, like, Rafinha's 500 less than Malpai.
And Leeds would be the biggest favorite on the 6-game slate.
I think you're right.
Right.
Yes, they are. Because they're the biggest slate on the FanDuel slate. That's how I knew that. It's Leeds, Liverpool, West Ham, Leicester, Arsenal, Brighton.
Aubameyang has an anytime goal scoring odds of plus 140. He's 6,300. And Kane as plus 175 is 9,700. Hilaire is 8,300 plus 195. Maupay is 7,600 plus 200. Zaha 215. He's 9,300. Like the difference between the slates is I don't know what they were doing.
I think Son is like 240. I just lost it there.
Yeah, 240. He's 10-1.
10-1. Yep.
Like, this is a slate where, like, if it was all together, like, Vardy at 9,200 sounds like a deal compared to Salah at 10-6.
Yeah, he does.
Right. Or Mane or Kane or any of the guys. This is what the whole podcast is. Essentially, we did good analysis for the first slate and then just complained about the second slate.
I think that's the good analysis, though.
Right. It feels like two cheap bastards. Just like, the inflation, the pricing. Back in the day, we used to get Cokes for 5 cents, and now it's $1.50. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Kids these days. Their fancy drinks.
And only 0.7 of a point for a cross. Ridiculous. Anybody has any follow for Jordan, you can find him on Twitter at BlenderHead. That's BlenderHD. I am at RotoWire Andrew. If you are watching this on YouTube and have enjoyed it, if you could just like below and subscribe if you'd like. If you're listening on the audio podcast, if you could just rate and review it wherever you listen, that would be greatly appreciated. Jordan, we are going to be back sometime later this week because there's plenty of Premier League. There's more Premier League Saturday, so I'm guessing we'll be back Thursday, depending on whenever DraftKings decides to put the slates up. And then we're going to have some congested schedule after that. There's Boxing Day the following week. Then there's a midweek matches before the New Year's Day-ish slates. So there's going to be a ton of Premier League coming up. Jordan and I will be here for all of it. So Jordan, thank you for that, and good luck on Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
I was going to say Saturday.
All right, good luck on Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah.